Hello, Melbourne Stars fans. This is Mighty Melbourne Stars. We have it's our 10th episode. Here's my co-host.
Hey everybody, it's been great to have 10 episodes of the podcast, and I'm looking forward to many more fantastic episodes with Heath and other special guests. Unfortunately today we couldn't get a special guest on. We do have some guests that we're hoping will join us shortly, but it's been a pretty big week for the Big Bash. We've had a lot of signings, but the main thing we're going to touch on today is the fixtures. A few days ago, the WBBL fixture was released on the 9th. And just today, this morning, we've had the BBL fixture released. So we've got a bit to talk about. Maybe we'll quickly touch on the WBBL fixture. I'm going to get straight into it, Heath. There's a bit of a controversy, a bit of a opinion here that I want to get your opinion here. They've
Yep.
brought in this new thing. There's two away teams playing at a neutral venue. So, for example, Perth Scorchers versus the Hobart Hurricanes are playing in Sydney, and the Sydney Thunder versus the Perth Scorchers are playing in Melbourne. So you got two away teams playing at neither of their home ground. Just what are your thoughts on that? Because when I first saw it, I thought it was a bit strange.
Is that for the women's or the men's?
Yeah, sorry, this is for the women. So this season
Oh.
they're all about expanding and trying to grow their fan base and followers. So yeah, just what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a bit strange. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's going to be confusing for the start, but I reckon as the season goes on, I'm sure like fans will be trying to get their head around it. But I'm sure it's no big deal. I mean, it could be a lot worse, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it was the idea because now usually the WBBL play at some smaller local grounds like City Power Centre instead of the MCG. But this year they've introduced like a few, like just a handful of games that'll be played at the MCG, the SCG, the Gabba, and possibly Optus Stadium or Adelaide Oval, which is good to see. It's good to see that the Big Bash is expanding from a women's point of view. It's good to grow the game. And then we're just picking up on things, guys, that we've noticed from the fixture. Obviously, there's not a heap to talk about, but a few other things I've noticed from the WBBL fixture is they have some double header games on the same day at the same venue, which is interesting. Usually, you don't see that. So, for example, there'll be a game at the G at 1 o'clock, and then there'll be a game again at the G at 4 o'clock. So you can just stay for both of them, which is unusual. We don't usually see that, do we, Heath?
No, we don't, and I reckon that it's the competition's way of saying if we want to boost up the attendance for the women's, we would just probably be like, okay, let's have a double header at 1 and 4 and see how we go, because I reckon that's their strategy for the competition this year.
Yeah, and I think it's all fan based, as we were talking about with Blair the other day. I think
Mm.
maybe we'll see ticketing prices a bit different. So maybe it's like pay for one game, get one game free or half price or something like that to draw in the fans, because that was what Blair was talking about, wasn't he? Like on the last podcast.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Yeah, for the fan and expanding the competition and everything.
Yeah, definitely. Just some other things I've noticed. Um, there's some rough time slots. Like there's some morning games in the WBBL. As they already struggle for numbers a little bit. The Women's Big Bash in attendance, and I've noticed there's some games that are being played. Around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Do you think that's too early for a cricket match, especially a professional one as well? Do you think that they should play the games in the evenings like the men's do?
What time was that? Sorry.
They're starting Big Bash games at like 10 in the morning for the women, some of them. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I don't think it is. Well, actually, I don't think it is too early. Early would be like what 6, 7, 8, like that'd be the earliest. But no, I reckon like midday would be better because it would because people would be on their lunchtime break and they would want to see some Big Bash and turn it on at work and everything.
Yeah, because that's another thing. Usually, during the day game wouldn't be as bad for fans because Big Bash is played in the summer holidays. Everyone's got free time. But the WBBL season is played between October and November, late October through November, finishing at by December for the men's to start. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they get numbers during the majority of the season. Seeing as they're playing day games throughout school and work time. So yeah, we'll see how they go. But I don't have too much more to touch on about the WBBL, but I just know that there were some fans that wanted us to talk about that. But I guess do you want to kind of get us started on the Big Bash talks that we've got released to us this morning?
Yeah, so as you guys would have seen this morning on the Stars account, they've released the fixture for the men's. So we open the season with against the Perth Scorchers, and that's going to be very interesting as we know what the Perth Scorchers can do. They've won the most titles. They're constantly up there every year. It's going to test us. We've got so we play the Scorchers twice. We play the Brisbane Heat twice. Strikers twice. We basically play the teams that finished in the finals twice, and we only play and the Renegades we play twice, and we only play I think the
10
Thunder.
games total.
Yeah, 10 game total. Yeah, and we only play the Hurricanes once, and we only play the Thunder once. So that I reckon that's a good fixture. My only disappointing thing is we could have. I reckon we should have played the Thunder and the Hurricanes twice, but I guess only once is not too bad. So we're gonna have to really get going with the fixture because we cannot have a slow start again like we always have.
Yeah, so we'll touch on a few things in a moment based on the Thunder, and I want to talk about the Albury Bash not happening anymore. But we play the grand final team, the Heat twice, and yeah, like you said, we play the Sixers, we play the Scorchers. We play them all first, so it's going to be a real struggle for us. How do you think we're going to approach the season at the start, and how are we going to come out?
Well, it's really hard to tell. Like my guess is good as yours. We're going to have to I guess a bit it's cliche, but we're gonna have to take it one game at a time. Like we're gonna have to really focus on each team as it comes. Like for example, we're gonna have to focus on the Scorchers because we know what they can do. They can chase well, they can defend well, they can bowl teams out really well. I think it's just we really need to be smart against the Perth Scorchers and the teams like that can that can win a game off their own bat and have got star-studded players that can hurt you with one quick innings or a couple of fast innings. We need to just be very, very careful on how we approach the teams.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. And as you mentioned, we can't get off to a slow start. Our first four games are the first four teams that we play are the four teams who made the finals last year. Hope that all makes sense. So it's gonna be a really rough start. Not rough. It's gonna be a challenging start because we're gonna be tested. Obviously, we're a bottom four team. So it'll be interesting to see how we go. The pressure will be on, no doubt, as it always is for the opener of the season. It's an away game, so I guess we just got to hope for the best. But we back our boys to get the job done. We've seen the Derby. We're going to have the Derby twice this year again, which is awesome. Sometimes they used to have it just once, so I wasn't sure if they were going to have it once or twice, but I'm glad to see that we're having it twice. What else do we want to talk about, Heath? One thing I wanted
Uh,
to talk about was the Albury Bash happened the past couple of years. I think that was great, the Border Bash between the Stars and the Thunder. It's not happening this year. It's in Canberra at, I'm not sure how to pronounce the oval. Um, what's it called? It's like Manuka. I don't want to say it, but anyway, it's an
is it
oval
Monica?
in Monaco. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an oval in Canberra. What are your thoughts on them moving the Border Bash?
Oh, it's a bit disappointing because, like you said, I liked the Border Bash, but like, yes, they do what they have to do, I suppose. I was gonna say we should try and get a guest on, like just a fan or something, because it's a bit hard to get the conversation going with just us two. We're doing a good job, but we really need to get a guest on, I reckon,
Yeah, I
just to share
know.
thoughts.
Yeah, it is tough with no guest. And for those listening, we are sorry, midway interruption that we could not manage to get anyone on so far. So Yeah, we're struggling to keep the conversation going off just the fixture, but it's all right. I've got a few more points to touch about in my notes here. No New Year's Eve bash is another one. We've actually had quite a different fixture change compared to last season. Um, the past 2 seasons, we've had great games against the Strikers in the New Year's Eve bash. Last year, we saw Dan Lawrence and Marcus Stoinis light it up from the boundary. And the season before, the season before, we even won against the Strikers when we weren't playing too well. That was without Maxi, obviously, back a couple of seasons ago when he had his broken leg. So I think the team seemed to really enjoy that game and the fans. So I'm disappointed to see that the Scorchers have taken our spot in that New Year's Eve bash. But we do have some blockbuster games. We have a Boxing Day game, we have a New Year's Day game, and we have our opener, obviously, against the Scorchers. Which game are you most looking forward to, Heath?
I'm looking forward to the Derby, like just to see how we go, and also to test ourselves against the four teams that made the finals last year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It will be a tough challenge, but I think we're up for it. How do you think we're going to go overall in the season? Like win-loss kind of record. We play 10 games. Obviously, season's shorter. We're going to get off to a challenging start, like we've talked about, and then obviously we close out the season with some easier teams. Hopefully, just bold prediction. What do you think our win-loss record's going to be?
I reckon we'll probably start off slow like we always do, and then we get a couple wins. I reckon we'll make the finals, but it's going to be hard. Like the start is going to be what the key. If we can get off to a good start and just like hit the ground running, then I give us a shout of making the top, like finishing first. But if we are slow in every single year that we have been, it's going to be a struggle town. So I reckon we're going to finish on top, but it's going to depend on how we go against the other teams and how we approach the season.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. How we have to hit the floor at the start. We got to come out faster. As you said, it's going to be a bit of a repeat of last season. Get off to a slow start, try to get our way back in it, but it's too late. So yeah, my prediction is probably about. I'm going to go 7 wins, 3 losses. I think we lose the first 2 games to the Scorchers and to the Heat. We're not in form. And but then we make a comeback. We play the Strikers, we play the Sixers, we get on a solid win streak. Then I don't know, throw one more loss in there somewhere, and yeah, I can see us finishing hopefully around the third position, maybe second, maybe fourth. But I do see us making finals. I think um, if we can get a solid draft pick with our pick 1 and pick 9, then I see us as a real contender, and we've just got to look out for those re-signings as they're happening in these coming weeks, and we've seen a lot of them today. We saw Cooper Connolly, we saw Nick Hobson, so that was yesterday, but recently being re-signed to the Scorchers, and we've seen it with a lot of other teams re-signing their players, so it'll be interesting to see who the Stars re-sign, who we extend, and who we draft.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. It's going to be it's going to be very interesting to see who we pick up, because whoever we pick up is gonna go a long way into having a say on on how we go as a team. Sorry, it's going to be fantastic. What I like about the fixture is that we play the hard teams. It's going to show us fans like how we go as a team, and it's going to definitely put us in good stead and good experience for us playing the hard teams first.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. We've covered everything from the WBBL point of view. We spoke on games and venue times. We've spoken on the men's fixture. I have nothing else to talk about. I think we've had just about 15 minutes running on the clock now, so I'm pretty pleased with it. Obviously, we had no guests, so it's harder to keep the podcast going on longer. It's just the two of us, and there's not a lot of news. So, Heath, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, it's like like we say, sorry we couldn't get on the we couldn't get a guest on. We, my co-host and I, we do appreciate the fans that do watch and do stick around. It's even though it's a short podcast, we do love the feedback that everyone gets on my YouTube channel and my co-host's Instagram message. If we can get some likes and subscribe to my YouTube channel and give my co-host a follow, that'd be great. As with my second podcast, with the podcast account, we would like to get up to 100 followers or even past that, exceed that before the Big Bash season starts. And yeah, can't wait. We'll stay tuned. We're gonna have some have have some has looking forward to. I know it's hard.
We're gonna have
Looking
some
for,
good podcasts on the way, guys. We have a lot
yeah,
planned. I'm already making the thumbnails. We got more to talk about. We got more special guests coming on.
yeah.
Stay tuned because yeah, like Heath said, we're trying to hit 100 followers on the podcast account. I think we're 3 away. Go give Heath a follow on his new Instagram account that he made yesterday. Go subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel. I'm not sure if I'm shadow banned. I don't think I am on my main Instagram account. So I'm trying to test it. So if guys just please like my new post because I'm trying to see if I'm shadow banned or not. So please go like my new fixtures post if you haven't seen it already. But I guess that's everything.
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you, Stars fans, for listening. It's been another great episode of the podcast, and we'll be in touch with you guys very shortly. Go Stars!
Go Stars, guys. See you later.
See ya.